What is going on, everybody? Justin here, aka No Good Comics, and welcome back to the channel. And Happy New Year! It's 2022. Hello, 2022. Hope everybody's doing well. And I figure why not kick off the year with a live stream and, of course, talking about one of my favorite series that came out of 2021, Nightwing, the Leaping into the Light by Tom Taylor, Bruno Redondo. We're going to get into all those details as we break down Nightwing Volume 1. But of course, it's not just me. I have my good friend Sadé with me today to kind of break this down. And before I even bring her on, let me just, I will say this. Sadé is somebody that I actually sent this Nightwing book to because I loved it so much, and I sold her on it immediately through like 2 voice messages that I sent her. I said, "Here's why you need to read Nightwing, blah 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 blah," and she's like, "I think that's like one of the best sell points of a book that I've ever heard." So I sent it to her. She read it, and we're gonna talk about it here today. So let me bring my good friend Sadé from What Page Is It? Sadé, what's up?
Hi, Happy New Year, and thanks for having me.
Happy New Year! Yeah, absolutely, of course. Are you wearing a Batman shirt?
I had to be on theme, guys.
Hey, look at that! Look at that! My only DC shirt that I have.
This might be my only clean one. Just kidding.
Yeah. So, thanks for coming on. Happy New Year. How was your New Year's Eve? I know you were out and about a little bit on my side of town a little bit.
I was on. I know. City. I left New York. What's wrong with me? But yeah, no, it was very much a living room style New Year's Eve, which I'm not mad about. Those are honestly my favorites. And yeah, hung out with friends. We did I don't know if some people saw on TikTok where if you watched Endgame, and if you started at 9:30 and then by the time Iron Man snaps, it's midnight, and that's so what we did and how we celebrated. So
nice.
Yeah, the nerdiest way to bring in the new year ever.
Yeah, I love it. I was watching Ant-Man this morning. It was on TV, so I was watching Ant-Man and the Wasp. Yeah, so very cool. Glad that you had a nice New Year's Eve, and we're neither of us are really hungover in that sense, so we're feeling pretty good.
I don't know, but
we weren't sure, like waking up this morning, like this could be a disaster of a show, or
may not happen.
If we live right, yeah, it may not happen. We may have to schedule this another time. But yeah, so I'm glad that you're able to make it. I'm glad that we're able to do this. So thank you for taking that time. I told you before, this is just a chill kind of talk about this particular book, Nightwing. It's specifically for those watching right now or catching the replay. We are talking about Nightwing 78 through 83. So those issues are we're calling it Volume 1, or they're calling it Volume 1, because that's where Tom Taylor has kind of started off with this series. So it was written by somebody else before. I heard it wasn't all the best, but obviously Tom Taylor is awesome, and actually kind of the intro for me to get back into DC, which I'll get into those details in a bit. Before we go into some of the fun here, I want to do just say a quick hello to the chat, which I saw my good friend John from John's Comics with Kids. Happy New Year to you, my friend. I said, here we go. Best book at DC currently, no question. I am with you there, my friend. And I'm reading a lot of DC nowadays, so that is saying a lot. He says, if JP were in this chat, he'd be blaming me for being late already. Well, it is because of you, John. So that's still on you, my friend. We got my man Phil, Comic Talk Weekly. What's going on, Phil? Happy New Year. Good to see you as well. And we got Oh Brother Comics in the house as well, saying Happy New Year, everyone. Hope you had a nice celebration as well. Let's see. We got my good friend Ryan Magic Lasso. Happy New Year to you. Says hello. Hi, panel and chat. Let's see, my good friend Mitch. What's going on, Mitch? Happy New Year to you. Hope you're well. Let's see. Thanks everybody for coming out, hanging out with us on this nice New Year's Day. We got my friend Jason, Claiming Comics, hanging out with us. He says, "Did you spend New Year's Eve slinging copies of Nightwing 78 in the Newark back alleys?" Yeah. So Jason always pictures me just with like a trench coat, and I have like Nightwing 78, and I'm just like selling it to people.
That's basically how you gotta read me, but it was like a voice memo. So just imagine him sending a photo with the like, "This is what you need." And I was like, "Right, I'll read it."
Yeah, just twisting everybody's arm. Yeah, that's awesome. Jason, good to see you, man. Happy New Year to you. We have our good friend Gore Vidal in the house as well. Happy New Year. He says, I haven't read the book since I'm not keen on any of the Robins except for Dick Grayson Grayson in the 80s Teen Titans. But I enjoy comic talk. I figure that you would enjoy this regardless, Gore, and I do recommend it, Gore, if you ever get around to it, or maybe I send you a copy of this at some point, and you can dive into it yourself. But I do think that you would appreciate it. All right, let's see. Oh, hey, there's JP. John was just talking about JP. He must have overheard him. He says, "You're the reason they're late, John. Also, not speaking to Justin because a Nightwing discussion without me."
Oh my God.
Sorry, JP. Yeah, JP is the Nightwing man, I would say. Love you, JP. Hope you had a good New Year as well. Let's see. We got Big Lion Cat also in the house. Patrick, what's going on, my friend? He's been doing a lot of live streams lately as well. So, Patrick, hope you had a good New Year celebration. All right. I think we are all caught up at the moment. And let's see. Oh, hold on. We got Santi Comics T2 says, "Hi, I don't understand the English perfectly, but I try practicing. However, Nightwing is one of my favorite heroes. Tom Taylor is is doing so great with this run." I totally agree. Really enjoying it. And even the new stuff now, it's, moving on past this hardcover that we're about to talk about today. But Santi, thanks for coming in, hanging out with us as well. Okay, so Sadé, before we get into like the heavy details, first tell us like your background of DC or DC knowledge, or just that direction. Have you read a lot of DC in the past, or a lot of Nightwing in the past, or kind of where do you stand with that?
So I'm more of a big indie reader. That's how I got into comics. I was more hesitant to get towards DC because I felt like everything, you barely see like a starting point, like a number one, and I'm like, I don't know where to go.
Yeah.
But you were, before you pitched Nightwing, you're like, "Did you read it?" And I was like, "No, not yet." And you're like, "But why?" Like, "Because I haven't." And then you're like,
Why?
"Well, this is why." So, but I would say like, I mean, I have like read like some Harley Quinn stuff like here and there, but like I wasn't like heavy. But after reading Nightwing, I'm definitely like going to be invested in this character because like I didn't really understand the hype until now. So I'm about this. I'm about it. And this balloon.
I love it.
Coming at me.
It's great. We got Freaky Louie in the house. What's up, Louie? Yeah. So to clarify for myself also, like for anyone who hasn't been following me in the past, I guess like 8 months or so, I was not really reading any DC either. I when I first started collecting, like a little over 3.5 years ago, I was buying DC, but I wasn't reading it. I was buying it for like cover art, Jenny Frison, like all that stuff. And then I was reading a lot more Marvel and indie titles, like you mentioned. So for me, last year now, 2021, I had seen that Nightwing was kind of rebooting itself and that it was getting this new writer. And I've always heard good things about Tom Taylor, but I've never really even read any Tom Taylor. But I for whatever reason, I was like, let me just give this a shot. I want to kind of broaden my horizons a little bit with like what I'm reading, not just specifically indies or certain Marvel titles or things like that. And a lot of my friends read a lot of DC. So I was like, well, let me just see what this is about. So it was kind of my first DC book back into giving DC in general a shot. And I've never read any Nightwing either. So you're not alone there. Like I never read any Nightwing. I don't have much experience with even reading a lot of Batman stuff. Although I know Batman just obviously from like the movies and TV shows and things like that through the years. So for me, other than just like the general idea that Nightwing used to be a Robin named Dick Grayson who, worked with Batman. Like that's the only thing I really knew, is that he, belonged in the Bat family, and that's about it. And then like we get Barbara Gordon, who I also understood that history a tiny bit. I didn't really know too much about their love story, or that there was one. So it's nice to kind of go into this and see, kind of how that, the flirtation kind of develops between the two of them. But other than that, like I was going in blind. So, that was really just it. And so I went into it. I read the first, Nightwing 78, fell in love with it. And then I was like, oh, like this is easily something I want to continue reading. I even got my girlfriend to read it. She really enjoyed it. And so from there, we just like kept going. So that's kind of where I stand with Nightwing and how new I am to it. So for anyone watching right now, just to give you guys some perspective of where Sadé and I stand with the character, the author, and just DC in general. So there's a little bit about that. So before I ask you the overall, let me just make sure. Bielsa says you have something on your chin. Need a tissue.
Wow.
Thanks. I will say I needed a tissue for this first
Oh yeah.
issue 78 because I definitely got teary-eyed, and this is definitely a book that it stands out to me because I've never got teary-eyed by a book before, a comic book, I should say, and actually had a hard time reading out loud. So something that my girlfriend and I do for certain titles that I'm trying to get her into, we will actually read it at night, and like one of us will take turns kind of reading out loud and just like read the issue. So that was one of the books when it first came out, was Nightwing 78. And when we get to this letter that we'll go into, I literally like, yeah, crackling voice, like it was just not happening. And then she was like, really? She's like, all right, let me read. And then she started to get teary-eyed as well. So it wasn't just me. But we'll get into the letter. Let me, before I jump too far ahead, Sadé, give me your general idea of what you thought of this 6-issue set here. Like what were your initial thoughts, and how would you grade this in like a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being like the best?
I mean, I really liked how both like the story itself was written extremely well, and then the way it was visually done with like action sequences and like how Nightwing himself was like moving around the page. Well, everything together in unison was like, I would say, like design wise, the 10 out of 10. Honestly, yeah. I'm very like picky with that, and I like being able to be. I want to stay on the page and see like the artwork and how it was done, like the thought process and the different layers within how you're reading the comic. Does this make sense?
Yeah, but totally. Yeah, it's very unique too. Bruno Redondo does a great job with that.
It's very different and very eye-catching and very niche to, I would say, like these two creators creating the storyline. Like I don't see that anywhere else. So
yep. Very cool. So wait, what would you grade this as a? Oh, you said 10 out of 10
for 10 out of 10 because how design wise it was done and the story together. It was
everything. Okay. I like it.
The imprint on them.
Man, so that is up there. And I didn't clarify that we do like so normally on the channel I do like a grading system. So like how would you rate like for CGC grading, but like 9.8 is like super high, but a 10.0 is like that's perfect. And I really can't. I mean, I really have no other reason to not give that the same grade that you gave it, because just from all the different emotions that I get from this, including like a lot of the cute and like funny moments that they have. And like I said, the dialogue is just so great, seeing Barbara and Dick kind of grow together and flirt and all this other stuff. Like I just love that. I love the layout, like you were saying, Bruno Redondo showing some of the combat scenes and like the parts with his like staff and everything that he's using. Like it's just really cool to see.
There's like a scene where they show how the staff works, and I was like, this is beautiful.
Totally.
Why, but I was impressed.
No, totally. And it's like it's so simple, and yet it's just it's stunning. Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, I'm definitely up there with you. You're giving it a 10. I'm gonna give it a 10 because it's definitely just that great. And it's a book that, and people here in the chat know, all I do is talk about Nightwing. So I'm sure a lot of people who maybe not even in the chat, but people who watch this later are like, oh my gosh, here's Justin again talking about Nightwing and in a whole new year. But it's just what I do. A couple things I was going to highlight here. Gore said he was talking about Wolfman and Perez's brilliant Teen Titan made me appreciate Dick Grayson. That's something I do want to check out at some point, is the Teen Titans from Perez's time, from the 80s. He was leader of the team and made one forget he was ever a sidekick. Yeah, that's a great point too. So like, and I guess because I don't really necessarily have that memory of, oh, Nightwing is Robin. Like I don't, to me, Nightwing stands on its own just because of my lack of, reading, I guess. Yeah. But I could definitely see that where people who have been reading Batman forever, and then seeing him as Robin, the sidekick, something like that is nice to see him be separated in that sense. So, yeah, well said there. I agree with John here too. Make sure you hit the like button. Thank you. And follow Sadé. Yeah. I don't know if I said that.
Hype man over here.
I put Sadé's information in the description below. So Sadé has an awesome YouTube channel and Instagram channel that you guys should be subbed up to. And yeah, I didn't add the TikTok, but I should add the TikTok. But it's the same handle, so you can
everything's the same. Everything's different, but I'm not on there.
What page is it? Yeah, and happy belated birthday, by the way, to you.
Thank you. Sadé. That's why I said about a balloon. I have balloons everywhere. I'm not kidding. These are all over my apartment right now.
Nice. I bet. Yeah.
3-0, guys. I'm getting up there, and I don't mind
I love the video that you had put together. You asked a bunch of different friends, including myself, which thank you for having me be part of it. And it was really fun to just put together a short little clip. Well, you know, a short little clip, you know, saying happy birthday and giving advice. So anybody who missed that or didn't see that over on Sadé's channel, it went up a couple days ago. It was the 28th was your birthday, right? So it went up on the 28th of December, and it was really cool to see a lot of different people. I know some are family members and friends of yours, personal, not necessarily of the comic industry, but then also you have some really awesome surprises as well.
I had
from the comic
writers wish me happy birthday and give advice. So I recommend you guys watch it. I worked really hard on making that.
Oh, did you? That's awesome. Yeah, that was a treat, and it's cool that I can say that I was on a YouTube video with a certain someone else, which I won't spoil here, but you guys can all go check that out. So yeah, very cool there. Hey, we got my good friend Nemesis Prime. Justin, what is going on, my friend? Happy New Year to you. Let's see. JP says, so glad Tom Taylor fixed this. So mad when Tom King turned Dick into Rick, then made him not care about Alfred's death. They were all always closer than Alfred. Always closer than Alfred with any other. Dick needed this moment. So see, and this is where JP probably should be on this stream with us, because yeah, I know you have way more details of kind of the history of some of this stuff here. But yeah, keep it going with these comments. Oh, brother says, I need to catch up. Nightwing was pulling it since Rebirth, then stopped just before Tom Taylor's run. Yeah, hyped on Tom Taylor's. Just my like. Yeah, I would definitely get back into it. Oh, brother. I mean, like I said, this hardcover.
It's a hard copy, and you can't worry about a pull list.
Yeah. Yes, that's very true. Yeah, this was nice. This came out. It's actually on Amazon right now. It was on sale for $17.99 or something like that. And then I just looked again and it actually went back up to like 22, and it's like normally $24.99. So not crazy.
22. Sorry.
Go on.
Shower singing is over.
I love it. JP says 11 out. 11 out of 10. Yeah. I'm glad that you're loving it that much. You're getting some birthday wishes.
Oh yeah, dirty 30. Talk 30 to me, baby.
Welcome to the 30 club. Yep. JP calling you a youngster. You are a youngster.
Thanks, guys. Oh, you guys are the best.
All right. So yeah, so those are general thoughts. I'm going to share my I put together some slides as I was showing you backstage. So just some things to kind of talk about. We are not really going to go. I mean, these are technically a majority in order, but these are just some moments that that stood out to me, or stood out to us, like just some things that wanted to highlight. So let me reshare that here using the new feature here on StreamYard. Thanks to John mentioning it to me. So yep, there we are. And so just some of the beginning stuff. I like that, this is like the opening scene essentially, where we get a flashback of Dick Grayson getting kind of bullied by these jerks, basically. And Barbara was involved. He was saving her. And I just like that it kind of gives you that little hint, especially as new readers like you and me, to get the understanding that, oh, okay, these two grew up together. Like they know each other from a long time. Yeah. And also Dick has always been what seems to be like a good person, someone who's wanted to help others, especially that are being picked on or that can't fend for themselves. Like, always wanted to be there to help, step up. And then the other thing too, to kind of, again, reestablish the relationship or understanding where these characters are. You have Barbara standing with Jim, her dad, Jim Gordon. So, again, even for a new reader, like I kind of knew that all this connected, but I really wasn't that heavily, into the understanding of like who was related to who and everything else. So I like that they kind of, just kept that in there, showed that again. Mm-hmm. And yeah, you see, some cool moves already before he's even Nightwing. And then like flash forward. Yeah. So we get Bitewing in here, his dog that he rescues, who's getting picked on and beat up by these.
Like a dog.
Yeah. But like they're like kicking him and like they were going to shoot him. I was like, who does this stuff to a dog? Yeah, seriously. And
crash people. I know it's still I got very invested into this part. Okay.
Yeah, no, totally. Like it's and he's so cute too. I should have like blew this part up a little more, but this is where we see like the first part of what you were talking about, Sadé, like the fancy motions in the action scenes. At that bottom right hand picture there, you can kind of see some of that going on. Of you see multiple pictures of him doing flips and beating out the bad guys. So I think that's really cool here. What were some of your thoughts here on kind of these opening scenes that I'm showing here?
I liked how it does give us the origin story and then back to the future of the time that we're in, I guess, or the current time frame that we're in.
The present,
Yes. Talking today, not working. But yeah, no, I like how it makes sure, like I said in the first one, how it makes us like connect on who the characters are. We know who, Barbara and Dick being friends, and then with this too, we're seeing like how even with the bullying, and now here it is bullying again, example, but with the dog, how he won't tolerate any form of it, no matter who it's being done to.
Yep.
So, and then he'll sit there and go above and beyond just to knock someone out over bullying, which is wild. But yeah, yep. But it's so funny too that like why is he out and about in his Nightwing costume and then he's saving a dog? I just want to know what was he doing prior to this to get to this point, I wonder.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine that part of what he does on just a regular basis, kind of like Batman, is to kind of check out the city as a whole, or kind of scope throughout the night. And from what it seems like, these jerks were being pretty loud about what they were doing, being bullies. So luckily he was able to stop them. Again, I can't get over the fact that they had like a gun and they were literally that top right panel, like they're literally going to shoot this dog. Yeah, I'm like,
picked up this dog because they weren't thrilled about it being three-legged dog, which is preposterous. And they're like, let's just go kill this thing. Horrible.
Terrible. So John says Dick has always been the heart and conscience of the Bat family, and a lot of people here agreeing as well. So that's good to know too. Just nice to continue to see that this book stick to that type of stuff. So more birthday wishes for you. We have our good friend Brandon here. What's going on, Brandon? Happy New Year. We also have my friend JD in the house. George, Happy New Year to you as well. Thank you for stopping in. Yeah, Santi says that the drawing of Bruno Redondo is perfect for the story. I totally agree, for sure. All right, so let's see a couple other things that I have. So I also wanted to just bring up kind of this how the villain is set up, at least in the beginning here. So we see this guy Blockbuster, who I didn't know actually. I had no idea who Blockbuster was. Are you familiar with Blockbuster? Have you ever?
No, okay. This is probably my first introduction that I know of directly.
Same. So seeing Blockbuster for the first time, he reminded me of like Kingpin from like the Marvel side, right? Like big guy, like clearly more muscular than like he squishes. I didn't put it in here, but I did at the bottom right. He like squishes this guy head, or he like picks him up by the head and like kills this guy. So like he clearly has a lot of power, and he dresses up in these bright white suits, very similar to Kingpin as well. I didn't rerun into this character until I read. I was reading the Robin Year One, I think, with JP, and we were Year One is the name. And we were we ran into a couple of characters that were, and he was one of them. But it was weird. He was like a savage. It was like a savage version of him. It was like. Like he didn't he didn't have this like control of himself or speak English or anything like that. He was like a monster basically. So I don't know like the real Blockbuster, what that really looks like altogether.
Was that like his origin story kind of compared to this?
What I was reading, it was Dick Grayson's origin story and kind of how he got into working with Batman and everything else. Which, by the way, Sadé, I recommend reading if you get a chance. It's only 4 issues. It's like a mini series that was done. Year One, Robin Year One. There, John put it there too. I recently broke that down over with JP, who's in the chat. Him and Kavi, they do a Batman show, a Gotham City show that they do where they break down different popular series from the whole Bat family. But this was one. So, anyways, it's really good. It gives you more of a glimpse of kind of understanding how he got to be Robin and like as a kid. And I don't know if and I know I'm going off topic here, but Sadé, did you read or did you see Jeff Lemire's new Robin and Batman that has just started coming out? I think the second issue.
Robins, right? Where it's like all the Robins are
no, not the Robins. There's I mean that's good too. That also has him in it. But Jeff Lemire has put out. It's going to be a 3-issue mini series. I think only the first issue's out right now, and it also tells a very similar origin story to Robin. And his whole thing. It has nothing to do with Blockbuster, but I'm just sharing that with you now since we're talking about it. But it's also good. And that's new stuff coming out, and it's by Jeff Lemire, one of my favorite authors ever. So that'd be good to check out as well. Let's see. Yeah. So JP says Blockbuster was always sort of lame a lame Batman villain until he redid him in the 90s, established him as a kingpin type of figure, and made him a main villain in the original Nightwing series. So okay, so that's a better view of kind of getting an understanding of him. So yeah, so we get him here meeting up in like this like shady area under the bridge, meeting up with the mayor, who's the guy who's getting his head, squished on the bottom right there. And then the mayor's like right hand, or not sure who she was at the time, but her name's Melinda. And basically, for those who haven't read it, I should have said this in the beginning, but there's gonna be spoilers. We are gonna like spoil this, so anybody who doesn't want to read it, yeah. There's your halfway through the show spoiler warning. So yeah, so he kills the mayor and basically makes Melinda the new mayor, but he has like plans, right? So it's like very much like we said, he's kingpin. He like wants to run the city himself, and if he's not the mayor himself, he certainly wants to have control of the mayor and the police and everything else. So you kind of don't know like who's good and bad when it comes to the police. Very similar to Gotham, right? There's a lot of shadiness that always goes on. So yeah, that was just a cool scene. And just kind of a setup. But any other thoughts here with Blockbuster before I go on? I know we get more of him later, but
I mean, this gave me just knew he wasn't messing around, because I didn't expect so much violence in this scene when I was reading this.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh, we went there. Got it. Okay. All right.
And he's dead.
We're here.
We're here. 0 to 10 real quick.
Real quick.
Let's see. Dave's in the house. What's going on, Dave? Dave Enrique says Blockbuster also has a big part in the Judd Winnick Green Arrow from the mid 2000s. Okay, interesting. I've never read any Green Arrow, but that's cool that they're using them there as well. So, all right, let's keep this going here. So, just kind of some other character focuses. We had mentioned Babs, Barbara Gordon, but this is her now as we arrive into the present, and she essentially breaks into Nightwing's apartment when he's getting back to his place, and he thinks it's like some bad guy, and then she like throws him and flips him, and then she's like, "Hey, it's me," and she's like, "Oh, hey, hey, Babs." And then I just put like the one screenshot of her up top where she's just like in love with the dog when he brings home the dog or whatever. So, but yeah, so just a little bit here, just showing that she's definitely very relevant in this whole series, right? We get her a lot. Do you know her as the Oracle? Do you know that whole storyline or kind of understanding of that?
That I was missing. Okay. I'm assuming it was an undercover thing. Correct me.
Yeah. So basically, she was like someone who is worked behind the computers and like was always monitoring things from distance when it came to, I mean, she does this with like Batman, she does this with Nightwing, like and probably a lot more that I'm not even like including, but I know that she is very smart and tech savvy and up to date with all like the latest technology and things like that. And we even get a piece of that here where she gives him the new like mask that has cameras in it, so she can like see and track him wherever he is and all this stuff. So anytime you see like the green bubble text box, that's her like talking in his earpiece or whatever, right? So yeah, so it's kind of like that. Now she used to be Batgirl, and I don't know if you know that, but yeah, so she used to be Batgirl. She had gotten injured, and I don't even know the details of that, but like had a serious like back injury of some sort. Where I don't know if she got like fully paralyzed from the waist down or like what happened, but that is also partially like the storyline of like what got her to be like Oracle, where she could still be helpful or still be in the field per se. So, and again, I might be like completely off, but I know that is like a gist of like the direction that of her character. Gotcha. But hey, we got VP in the house. Happy New Year to you, VP. Good to see you. So anyway, so that's just a little bit of that. And then this is where we get to the letter.
This is where you cried.
Yeah, this is where I cried. So like, it's definitely a part where like it's I wasn't expecting it, but basically if she goes, hey, you got this letter and it's from or it's written to you. It's by Alfred. Now, anyone who doesn't know, Alfred, the butler of Batman, who's been the butler of Batman forever, earlier in the year in the Batman series, he actually passes away. So actually, it might have even been longer than a year ago. I don't know how long it was, but basically, Alfred's dead. and he's been dead, and now he's discovered this letter, Nightwing, and he reads it, and it's basically this really touching letter from Alfred to him, where he talks about just kind of how much he's meant to him, and really solidifying the relationship that they've had. And there were some other scenes, I didn't like take screenshots, but during that beginning flashback when he's a kid, we do get to see Alfred a little bit, and just kind of showing a little bit of like, hey, kind of a father-son figure, and that's the hint, right? And that's kind of always been the case. And what people were saying in the chat before is that they've had this father-son figure. And Sadé, when you do get around to reading the year one stuff, the Robin year one, you'll see a lot of that where he really kind of has his back, especially when Batman's like kind of a jerk at times. So like he's like not jerk, but just like he's very hard on him. So seeing Alfred just be the father figure for him there. So like I said, I was trying to read this out loud, and like halfway through I just couldn't, because it's very much like, and I don't have kids or anything, but even from a son to a father standpoint, whether you have children or obviously you are a child to your parents, like you could kind of apply or hear, for me anyways, I kind of, heard my parents in this letter of like, just, not giving me all that money. I wish that was part of it, but the touching moments of just like, how he's watched him grow up and how he feels about him, and all this stuff. So it was really touching. And then the kicker of what ends with this letter is that he actually gives Nightwing
all of his money.
All of his money, yeah. And Alfred was loaded, and so he had a lot of money thanks to working with Batman all these years, and he never really spent any. So so that was like the gist of this. What were some of your thoughts on this? Did you get any type of emotion from this, or do you know where I'm coming from?
When you told me that you cried, I was like, well, then now I don't want to cry, so no thank you. So I definitely was like going like a sir, nope. No, but it was really sweet, onions. And it does pull on heartstrings. And I think too, this scene with the letter was probably like a pivotal point for him, because this is where everything shifts for him, because he's now going from like a poor kid, still like he's always been, I guess, like a poor kid, and now he's given this money, and all he wants to do is help people. And then going forward, he wants to start changing the town, the city. So it's basically why we get the guy that looks like Kingpin. I can't remember his name offhand. What's his name?
Blockbuster.
Thank you. Yeah. How it's coming relevant to seeing him, and then getting this letter. It's how everybody's getting kind of like the character development is happening.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
With this.
Agreed.
So.
No, I'm with you. It launches this new direction for him for now he's like, what do I do with this? He's not one to like splurge and go nuts with spending money, but he wants to
$1 pizza after this. Even Barbara's like, really?
That's right. Yeah, and like he just wants to give, he wants to help, and we get to see a lot of that with the homeless children that are kind of throughout this book that he wants to help with. I actually don't think I have a screenshot of the particular dad and son, but there's, like you said, like during the pizza scene, there's like this father and son who he buys, he takes out to get dinner. They get pizza together, and then
hotel.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he gets the hotel for them and everything. So like he basically is like, I want to do this, but amplified for the entire city of Bloodhaven, essentially. So
then when he does do this act of good deed, something else happens that causes a conflict in his goals to change, to do good with the money.
Yes, and you want to go into that?
We can go into that. I don't know what's next in the sliding, but we can go into that.
No, go for it. I mean, I have some small parts like here, but go tell us more about what you're saying here.
So, but yeah, when Dick wants to help this father and son that are homeless, and they get to the hotel, something happens to where he finds out that they never made it to the hotel, and that the dad was actually murdered, and then he's trying to find the son because they don't know where the son went at all.
Yep.
So then that's where this evil villain comes into play to the story, who's like, yeah, literally somebody took this guy's heart because now he wants everybody else's heart. So sad.
This guy right here.
This guy, Heartless.
Literally Heartless. Literally.
I mean, that's right on the nose for the name, but like,
yeah.
What do you call this guy? Heartless. All right.
Yeah.
Done.
So on a side note with this character, so yeah, like you said, so the father goes missing. He's trying to find the son. He finds the father dead, right? And the heart literally ripped out, and that's what like this guy does. So, and we still like don't fully know like all the
No idea.
details of this character. So Heartless is this side villain that we don't. I mean, I don't think he's related to Blockbuster or anything like that. He has his own agenda, right? He's he's going around killing people, especially like the homeless and people who can't fend for themselves. And obviously, Nightwing's not having that. So this was kind of the first scene that we get from him is during this wreckage, and he's trying to save this group of like where I guess a lot of like the homeless people live and hang out.
It's all kids because all
right.
the parents are getting their hearts taken out,
killed. Yeah. On a side note with this character too, have you been reading the series Robin that's been coming out? It's like issue 9 right now.
No.
Okay, so there's it's Damian Wayne, not as Robin. So Damian Wayne, it's a whole separate thing, and I'm not going into details with that. But the reason I bring it up is because when this book came out, when 78 came out, issue 1 of Robin came out, and the way issue 1 of or something that happened in issue 1 of Robin was there's a character who's ripping out hearts.
Oh,
and
really?
and I was talking to John's Comics with Kids, and I'm like, John, are these connecting? Like, are we gonna get like this? Is this? And at that point, we didn't know who Heartless was. We didn't even know the name Heartless. But we were like, are we gonna get that character and this character, the same character? Like, is there a crossover of some sort? It ended up not being. So it's not.
Well,
it's not at all the same. No, there's actually another charter. Her name's Flatline, and she actually takes hearts.
That's a cool name that goes.
Really interesting. Yeah. Yeah, Flatline's cool. You should read Robin. I think you would like that too.
Now
it's really fun.
I gotta do that. I mean, I'm gonna take your recommendations for DC because, like, if I can read Nightwing and be like a champ at it, and then now you got more.
True.
All right, because we know your girl got an iPad Mini for her birthday. Comics.
Nice iPad Mini, very nice.
I am pipes.
Anyway. Let's see. Real quick, I want to go back to the chat for a sec. I see a couple things I want to catch up on. JP said, after killing Joke, Barbara was paralyzed from the waist down for 20 plus years. She became Oracle to keep helping. So yeah, there you go. And JD also mentioned the Killing Joke.
No, just because I want to know, how old are Barbara and Dick supposed to be in this, or is this not really correlated? Because she looks pretty good for being 20 plus years, and she be walking, and she don't be looking 40. I'm just asking.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. I mean, I would guess that they're like
stamps.
Maybe they're like 30s. I don't know.
She was like 10 when she killed the Joker. I just want to know.
No, it's a good question.
Confuses me. I don't understand.
No, yeah. But well, unless JP, I'm trying to think when Killing Joke actually came out. If he's saying the book Killing Joke came out 20 years ago, then that doesn't mean that she's 20 years older in this per se. It's just that was published then.
So 20 plus years. It's fine. We're going to get into it. I'm just getting too deep on this conversation.
Let's see. JB said worked with Batman characters, Justice League, and Birds of Prey as computer info person on that time. Yeah. So that was So even in some of the new stuff right now, even with Tynan's current Batman series that just finished, actually, still she is Oracle. You can still she is still helping and using all the computers and things like that, which is cool. We got my man Empire Comics in the house. What's going on, Emp? Happy New Year to you, my friend. Let's see. JD says this comic hit hard since I'm a huge Nightwing fan. Yeah, Rajan is another person who probably should also be on this panel in terms of breaking down Nightwing, because I know he's also a big Nightwing guy as well.
Gotta do part 2 of this video.
True.
No one's mad about that.
He says, love this book just for the letter. Yeah, I'm with you, JD. The letter, seriously, so great. JP says, Bruce struggled more to raise Dick than the ones that came later. Alfred was the rock for both of them and was important to Dick even than the others. Yeah, okay, so they even had a more special kind of connection than some of the other Robins that had come through. That's good to know. Brother Joe in the house. Brother Joe, happy New Year to you, my friend. Thanks for stopping in.
Mr. Mays.
Yeah, they deemed me the mayor middle of last year, so they've been calling me the mayor. JP Budget says 20 plus years in real time, not comics. So yeah, it's just talking about our time.
I don't know.
Yeah. So I assume that they're in this, maybe they're like late 20s in their actual age or whatever. This is true too. Comic characters definitely age very slow, so gotta go with
do that too.
So yeah, right. Yeah, okay. So both are mid to late 20s. Good to know. So yeah, great point with this, because I definitely didn't get a lot of the screenshots to kind of some of the story that you were just talking about, Sadé, on Heartless, and obviously more of the direction of why Nightwing wants to, help the city and clean up the city. Like he wants to use this money to help people who need homes and or out in the street right now, or don't have parents, things like that. So his heart is there, and he, even though he's a superhero, he's like trying to figure out now, like, what do I have a lot of money now, so how do I use that to my ability to help, not just continue fighting bad guys per se.
And he's I want to go trying to get he also wants to get the community of the city to want to help as well, not just him. It has to be more big effort for everybody involved to make this place a better area for everybody to live, both families and stuff. So
yeah, great point. I wanted to bring this up, and it's I can't quite read it on there, so I'm going to try to pull it up here on my my thing here. So I love this scene because later, as like there's these detectives that show up at the doorstep and find they found his wallet, right, and all this other stuff.
Yeah, that's how they figured out with the dad and son.
Right. So they're like, why, this dad we found dead and all this other stuff. So like, why were you there? Like, what's the whole deal? Like, and he's like trying to explain. He's like, I was buying him pizza. I was trying to give him a place to stay, all this stuff. And they were kind of accusing him in a way, or, essentially trying to figure out the death. Yeah. So one of the things that I loved about this scene, and well, two things. So one, this is one of my favorite panels on the right. Seeing Barbara there with the city and the sun going down, like I thought that was just so beautiful. And if you guys ever get to see this, whether it's on a digital, I read this digitally first time around, but looking at it now, even like physically, it's really stunning to see the colors and everything.
I enjoyed reading it digitally. I think this was like one of the first comics that I read full through, multiple issues, like digitally, and like I loved how this is me convince everybody to also do digital. But like I liked how the panels are done differently, how they bring it up to you, how the colors are more vibrant and stuff like that. And then plus too, like for people that are like anti-digital, like you, obviously like how you did, you still bought the hard copy after you read all these digital. So it's like to have it to your collection. So I don't think it's gonna ever kill shops.
I'm with you.
Comes at me in the chat. I've had do that before. I was like, y'all need to relax.
Believe me, I've been fighting the good fight for quite some time, Sadé. I'm glad to have you as a soldier here. So I'm with you. The digital stuff, especially like getting the panel to panel feature, like seeing all that up like zoomed in, it's so beautiful.
Good. And it gets you. It gets you. It gives like a certain mood and a feeling different than it's just a different experience overall. I can't complain.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree. So yeah, and I agree here. JP talking about the colors in the book are definitely spectacular. So this, she's basically getting a call basically after she left his apartment, and they're, he's like, hey, can you come back here? I have some people that are basically like accusing me of something. So I need you as like my proof that like where I was last night and all this other stuff. So yeah. So as they're, and I'm just going to read like a little bit of this because I really enjoyed this and getting these questions here. So, on the, you see the door knocking there and Barbara shows up. She goes, how's it going? He says, being accused of murder, you, and it's just so casual. Like, so, she's shaking hands, introducing herself. She explains that she was with Dick for, she goes, I have GPS on my phone. Happy to show you my movements over the last 24 hours. And they said, I see Miss Gordon, and he goes, I see Miss Gordon, and what's the nature of your relationship? And and at the top right, you could just see their face. They look at each other, and he just like blows like a little bit of smoke there, and they're just like, yeah. He's like, I've been wondering that myself, but an interrogation is not how I wanted to broach that that subject.
It was so funny. I love it.
Yeah,
it's like just like breaking the ice of where we have a feeling in the beginning, and it's like they just break it for us, and we're like, got it.
Totally. And so yeah, I just loved kind of some of the back and forth with that. And just thought it was just a cute kind of moment, flirtation, going on between the two of them. So that was one of the scenes that I wanted to kind of show there. as part of the proof. And then one of the other things too here was like this, I think this is just a couple pages later, which by the way, I really like that we did get to see some of the other Robins and even just some of the other superheroes in general. We see at one point, I didn't get like all the screenshots, but
oh yeah, those are cool.
but like, yeah, so this is this one of the Robins, he mentions Tim Drake, so I think this is Damien. This is the reason I asked you to come, but I don't need. Oh no, it's Tim Drake. But I don't need Robin. I need Tim Drake. So this is Tim Drake that's there at the top left, and he calls him for some help on some things. He wants him to basically go undercover, right, and go check out the where all these homeless kids are in the city. So, but he wants to play it. He wants to play it undercover, so to see if Heartless shows up and trying to figure that out. So he wants him to take the puppy, which he points that out, and so he goes on for a walk. And on the right hand side, so Oracle's like they're working together, but Drake is like walking. He's in this hoodie, and meanwhile Nightwing is up on the rafters, as you can see him standing there. So
they're all in Bluetooth, so or like headphone pieces.
Right.
They're all
he's
connected.
Yeah. So he says, keep a lookout for Elliot, Tim. So they're looking for the kid, Elliot. It says, and find whatever you can about this man without a heart. He goes, sure. He goes, so Bab stayed over last night, huh? And Nightwing goes, I slept on the couch. Tim says, I see. And then in the little right-hand corner, you see Babs saying, I'm on this channel, right? And you see like the little
now.
Yeah, it's like this little cartoon drawing of her. Like she's just like her hands here.
It
like
gives me like the Cartoon Network vibes when we were watching Titans. When
Right.
Beast Boy would be like, no.
Yeah. So true. And then he's like, well, I do now. Like, so it's such a great awkward moment.
I love it. It's so good.
Yeah. I saw let's see where John was saying, for me, this is the type of writing that Tom Taylor is best at. He does dialogue in ongoing series, the banter and steady character growth so well.
It's so perfect. Like, I don't understand. It's like, it's art, obviously. Yeah. But like, I'm just like, I really want to know how their brain works and like how him and like the artist together are just like, cool, this is the idea. Let's put like this. This is this layout it could be cool at. Oh, yeah. I like maybe to like show her being like, dude, what the heck? Put it like this. Like even like the design style of her is like different compared to the rest, but it still gives you the same like emotion.
Totally.
I'm obsessed with how this was designed.
How it's laid out. No, absolutely. And that's why
an award, like please take.
Yeah. I hope that Tom Taylor comes over to the States at some point for another Comic-Con, because that would be awesome to kind of get an interview or ask a couple questions, or kind of what you've been doing. You've been getting some opportunities for some fun interviews and things like that. So if he's ever here, you definitely
here. Ooh, we'll kind of see what I can do. Ooh.
Yeah. Work your magic. Let's see.
Just kidding.
JB's mentioned. He says, read all Wolverine. By Tom Taylor. The writing is so good. Oh, that's good to know. I'll definitely add that to my writing list then. Especially that being that it's about Wolverine. I'm down for that. All new Wolverine. Yeah. So the other thing, so we talked about Heartless. So we get, some of the kind of the fight scenes here when this does work, like Heartless does show up. They go through this whole what's that?
The trap works. Yeah. But also the trap didn't work. It kind of backfired a little.
Right, it kind of like it was almost like Nightwing, or no, it kind of Heartless wanted this. Yeah, Heartless kind of wanted. So I took that screenshot at the bottom, but explain kind of what happened here, because at the bottom, like he has this button. He's like, yeah, basically I have them right where I want them, right? And he like clicks his thing. But you want to explain a little bit, like, kind of where this went or what happened here?
So like he shows up, and then the whole like camp of where all these homeless kids are staying at catches on fire, and then he is with Barbara and oh my gosh, what's the kid's name?
Tim Drake.
Yes. So like Tim Drake are all trying to get everybody away from the fire onto this pier, and then they're trying to save them, protect them, but it backfired because that's what Heartless's whole plan was, is to get them to go where they can't escape at all from this fire, and then he like explodes the whole like pier thing for them to not even be able to get back on, where they could basically drown in the ocean.
Right. And that's there. I forgot I took some of the screenshots there. So that's some of the dialogue. I love that shot of Heartless, like his whatever mask is like the shiny mask, but I like you can see Nightwing like in his mask or whatever, which I think is cool.
And then this is where I mentioned earlier saying how even though like Dick wants to start like creating like to make this town a better place, but it also takes community to do so, to help each other. This is a scene like with the boat is how he's getting Babs to radio in for anybody to come in and save the kids, being like, we're here, is anybody out there? And for a minute, like nobody was answering.
Silence.
It was silent.
Yeah.
The radio silent. And then like Barbara was like, I don't know what's gonna happen. And then all of a sudden, like some ship's like, we're here, and then like everybody starts coming in. And it's like, I feel like if this was like a movie, we'd be getting like chills. When I was reading this, I was like, oh yeah. I was like, what are you doing with this on the subway? I was like, oh yeah, baby. This really gets your heart pumping. And I'm like, doesn't happen that much with comics sometimes, but like this was like too many emotions. Like between the pages. Good lord.
I love that you said that, because I felt the same way with when these ships showed up. When the fact that there was this like bit of silence that went on at first, like I obviously don't have the screenshots here, but when you're reading this, it gets quiet and you're just like almost like leaning at the edge of your seat, like is anyone going to answer? Are they going to show up? Are these boats going to come help save the kids? And when they do, it kind of reminds me of when. I'm going to do a reference for Endgame, but basically like when Captain America, and it's on your left. Like
watching that last night.
Yeah,
so basically, yes.
Like on your left, you get that feeling. And so if this is ever like I would love if they did this as like a TV show or a movie or something like that with focused on Nightwing, that'd be amazing. But to have that moment there of just like it very much was like an on your left type of vibe. So I thought that was yeah, very, very well said there. Hey, we got my good friend Sheena in the house. What's up, Sheena? Happy New Year to you. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, that was definitely a powerful scene. I'm glad that you caught that and felt that very similar way to how I saw that too.
This is a 10 out of 10, guys. My emotions were heightened. It was
totally. Let's see, Gore here chiming in saying, I'd be interested if Starfire appears. They said they had a passionate relationship at one time. The embers may still be warm. So she does.
But I mean, she pops up and then pops out. But I don't know. But I mean, we'll see. I guess we could see what happens afterwards.
Yeah, totally. I mean, a lot of this stuff is like not wrapped up. I mean, even just for this one, this one, because this is really the last we see of Heartless. I think is after this whole like charade happens and he kind of defeats them and he goes away. Like they don't. I don't think we don't get to see too much else.
Yeah, I forgot. I have to go to my story because now I'm confused. Where did he go? Anywhere?
I think that was the last part we saw, because then after that it's like kind of recovery for
more with the other guy, Blockbuster.
It goes back more with him. And then also I think it was like 81 or 82 where we get a focus on just Melinda and that whole and the backstory to Melinda, right? We take like a whole break to like and we'll we can get into that next.
But actually, you're wrong, because we do technically see him at the legit last page of the last yeah, you do see
after
him
okay, so it's after
the last one.
Okay, it's so that's like after he
83,
he like comes out or whatever and says, oh yeah, that's right. Okay, yep, looking at it now. Yeah. Oh man, I should have put this in here, but it has like all the hearts.
I don't think we should. I think people should just meet him and then they can be like,
that's fair.
You can't spoil everything.
True. No, good point.
We gotta let them enjoy it. Otherwise, what's the point in convincing them to buy this book? We would fail at our jobs. Hello.
True. Good point here. Sheena is shocked. She says, "Wait, I have a wrench." Yes, you have a wrench. I did that last time you were in my chat. I thought you saw that and you didn't say anything, so I thought you didn't care. So there you go. I'm glad you're excited. Yeah, she's a wrench is like moderator to like check the chat if there's like a robot that's like in the chat or something. She can like remove people or control it in a sense, The past couple of live streams I've had a couple of like fake people selling not appropriate services on the chat, so that was like bad.
It's like,
yeah. So I definitely need to have some more wrenches. So this was a great kind of finale to this one particular moment before we kind of go into this other portion of the book, which
the hits just keep on coming. This scene, right, sorry, my hand's really close to this camera, but this right here, so it was like one of the things where he does this like little staff thing. It's just so my favorites.
I was gonna say I needed to find one to include in this, and that's what you're talking about. Yeah.
So good.
Let me pull up so this is like after
instruction video. It's instructions.
Yeah. How to. It's a how-to on how to break in.
Literally break into your house.
Yeah. So what the other thing I wanted to highlight here was basically this is after the whole fight scene and the fire's out and all this other stuff. He's like really beat up because that whole fight scene, we didn't like see a lot of it here, but you know, he really like
a couple days, right?
Yeah. He's like out. So he's supposed to be like at home resting at this point. And they're like, you know, we're glad you're okay, but like you need time to recover at this point because you are human. So, and then of course he can't sleep and he wants to go on figuring out more about this Melinda, this new mayor. Yeah, because she has the last name Zuko and what's his name? I think John Zuko or not John, Tony Zuko. Yeah. So Tony Zuko, who we haven't really talked about, he is known to be the guy who killed Dick Grayson's parents from you know, when he was only a kid and being part of the whole the acrobats and things like that in the air.
Circus,
for a part of the circus. Yeah. So he knows that name very well and he wants to know and figure out more about who this Melinda, you know, daughter of Zuko's being the mayor, especially knows it's dangerous. So he wants to learn more about her. So this is him. Even though he should be resting, he's out and trying to like sneak in and break into her apartment to learn more. And when he does, I just love the feet. When you see the feet on the left, and it's Babs is talking. She goes, Dick, are you there? He goes, yep. She goes, what are you doing? He goes, I'm resting. And then you see the action scenes there, and she goes, you know, you're still wearing your mask with with my camera, right? He goes, oh, I may have forgotten that part.
Yep.
She goes, yeah, that would be the head injury there. Because he took like a major head injury.
Why he shouldn't.
Yeah, the whole concussion thing she brings up. I just thought it was so funny that like she's like, hey, what are you doing? He's like
the wittiness. Like you could tell like they're a thing by how they talk too. It's kind of like, what are you doing, babe? What are you doing? Not
yeah.
smart, babe. No. Like long-term relationship people get this. It's like, what do you think you're doing?
Yeah. So true. So I just thought that was another just kind of funny little dialogue scene. So he breaks into this, he gets into this huge fight with Melinda's I want to say, I don't know if Melinda, her name is Audrey. And I didn't know if she was anything more than that, or if I forget if we saw anything more than that.
Did you do a screenshot of her or no?
I don't know. I don't think I did. But here's like kind of where it leads to, right after he gets broken into and all this stuff. She actually like ties him up at first, like this is afterwards, but like essentially, you know, he fights Audrey and Audrey's like, she is tough and she ends up like putting up a really good fight and knocks him out, and then they tie him up. Yeah, and then that's where like Melinda basically like starts talking and explains like all this stuff. Meanwhile, Babs is concerned because she's like, oh crap, you've been captured, your mask is off, this is not good, like we don't want people to know who you are. So she ends up calling in the team basically, and by the team I mean like all the DC superheroes. Yeah, so to what who was it Gore that mentioned before, do we see some of these other characters? We do. They come flying in, like literally flying, or ships, or all these different things.
I guess we're in the military or something where they like press the big red button to fire the missile. Like this is like the seconds before you press the big red button. Like that's when they start flying in. Yeah. It's good.
So yeah, that was like exciting because I was like, oh, are we gonna see like they're just gonna take this house down? Like Melinda has no chance, you know. Right,
like the three little pigs, like the wolf going like, that's what was gonna happen.
And then you know, of course, Dick gets to understand like who she is, and she explains that they're actually, and this is a big spoiler. So again, anybody who's like actually trying to
alert,
I mean, this was warned at this point.
Exit the chat now if you don't want to know. Like we'll give it 5, 3, just skipping 1.
What a nice countdown.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. It is
his sister, baby.
Oh, what is this? I didn't know this. I want a sound effect.
We got the little hype button here.
Oh my god! Why did I get this at my interview? That's disrespectful. What the heck? I thought we were close.
Yeah.
I thought we were closer than this.
You're right. You're right. My bad. That's my bad.
The disrespect is real. No, I'm just kidding.
Sometimes I just do it in my mouth, baby, you know. But yeah, so this is essentially they're related. That her mom, who we see on the right, because he actually gets to meet her. Miley Lynn,
the older sister. Am I wrong?
On the right, no. So she's Miley Lynn is the one who had I guess an affair with John.
Born yet, right? Because I don't think she no, yeah. She's Melinda's the older sister to Dick.
Older sister, yeah.
Yeah, that's
but but the lady on the right, I'm saying, yeah, that's her mom. Yeah. So she kind of explains that, like, hey, you know, I had a thing with John and all this stuff, and obviously this is where Melinda came from and all this other stuff. So but yeah, there's a ton of like flashback scenes that I would say it was just a great issue. Yeah, I think it was like 81. But we just get the whole glimpse of like the truth of everything.
Empire Comics called me out if you want to get that comic.
What do you say? I
just had to warn you. I'm skipping. No, we did that last night.
Hey, we got my man White Shadow hanging out with us here. What's going on? Good to see you. Happy New Year as well. Where else? There was something else in here. JP said, yeah, the story just now getting back on track because Batman crossover took 3 issues out of the trade. Yeah. So after this, after this trade, so I read those, and they were fine. It's obviously another direction because it's all based with Tynan's story and all, but they are back on track now with the newest issue. So I do recommend that. Did you read the newest issue, by the way?
No, that's why I asked if I had to read this.
Oh, okay.
Like, you gotta get because I just got it and I haven't read it. I've been reading Harleen. I've been reading that book. That's like, hello, if anybody's following me, I started doing the bougiest thing ever to where I put on Yule log on my TV and like put on a candle and I'm in my blanket on my couch and just enjoying my comic and enjoying life. And then someone said it was overkill and I was like, you can leave. I was so mad. Like, of course it's overkill, hence why I'm doing it.
Yeah, I love it. Forget those haters. So JP drops in some knowledge here. He says, I love the moment where Donna is last to leave after Babs waves them off, talking about all the different superheroes that come in. Donna's last to leave. He says he was in a relationship with Corey. And again, this stuff I don't know or I'm not very familiar with. But he says he was in a relationship with Corey, but he and Donna have always been best friends. So that's interesting. Starfire? Maybe. Yeah, you can't use first names here, JP, because we're just. You gotta give me
as Spider-Man says, made up.
Corey, I think Corey is made up names. Yeah, no, Corey. I think Corey is Sapphire. And then he says, "You're Spider." There you go. Yeah, it's true. John doesn't get the hype button either.
Okay, but back on track.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So Sparks Note's version of this is basically Melinda's mom basically ran away from her psycho boyfriend and
very psycho.
Basically ran away to the circus in a sense, and then but got away from him even though he didn't believe that she wasn't there. Then has a little flingy fling with Dick's dad, and then when she had to leave for some reason, and then she goes back after she already had him. And finds out that he already has a family again with the Dick's mom. And so she's like, okay, well, I'm going to just like Irish exit and not disrupt this family with my family. And then all of a sudden her ex kills the family. Right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, so the ex is Tony Zuko. He's the bully, the jerk. And and so that's that, and that part I've always known
because he finds out that wasn't his child. Yep, that's what it was.
Right. Yeah. So there's definitely some jealous factors in there, and that's something that I've known about Dick Grayson just from his like even in the films, like we saw a little bit of like that middle panel that's on screen right now of like seeing his parents die during the actual event of one of their circus events. By the way, John and JP are very helpful here. They're saying Corey, short for Coriander, Starfire, and Donna from his first original Wonder Girl. So thank you for clearing that up. Also, JP agrees Harleen is a great read. I just finished reading it again. I had to go back through and read. I posted about it and then I finished reading it. I actually was reading yesterday, so it's cool that you brought that up.
Just buy that during like a Barnes and Noble's 50% off?
I did, but I actually had it digitally first, and when I was on my way to Vegas, I read like half of it, and then I never like finished it. And then when I've been seeing the hardcover, I'm like, I got to get the hardcover. And then when I finally, was able to get it for only $15, which is awesome.
I got Christmas and I was hyped.
Yeah, that's even better. So free if it's free.
I didn't even put it on my list, and I was like, well, alrighty then.
Maybe that's next on the list. We'll have to break that down. So yeah, well said with all this. Thank you for kind of catching us up here. We because I didn't get any of the screenshots of that, but definitely a great issue to kind of get some of the background of Melinda and kind of even for Dick, like just seeing some of the background for his family and things like that. And this was like one of the scenes here that I had picked up here. And if I look close,
like they first met and when she ran away, and that's like when Mr. Hallie wasn't thrilled about anything.
Yeah, and I just like the one panel at the top right where she goes, "She ran away from you, huh? But you seem like such a catch."
I love it. Sarcasm is so well written.
Yeah, that's a really good panel there. So I think that was it for kind of my slides or my portion of slides here. So I'll remove this for now. But I know we're just like a little over the hour mark. We've covered a majority of this and really even doing a good job without even saying like the end of everything. But again, this is all spoilers. I did want to say one thing too at the towards the very end. He ends up, and again, this is something that happens at the last issue, 83. All this is going towards a direction of what he wants to do with this money, what his plans are for the future, now that he's got all this money. And the way that the last issue ends, at least a part of it, is he wants to come out and tell everybody who he is as Nightwing, and not like he doesn't want to like hide.
Batman version, yeah.
Yeah, and then he wants to use his money to help rebuild, the parts of Bloodhaven and help the people of Bloodhaven the way he can. So like that is like the big kind of the direction, and it's great because it's not like an ending; it's just the beginning, really.
Yeah. So, and then you also know that Melinda's not an evil person; she's actually wanting to like trick Blockbuster into thinking that she's gonna do whatever she wants. So it's basically like them are probably like, I think the brother sister duo are probably going to work together to make the city a better place. I think they're going to try to go to, along with the ups and downs of like actions and stuff for them to get to that point.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of fun fight scenes and things like that you still get to see. Blockbuster still shows up here towards he's still a main, still very much a main threat of the entire story. And there's probably a lot more to go on with that. And Heartless, like we still haven't resolved that as we mentioned before. So looking forward to kind of, seeing a lot more of where that goes on. I like that Melinda is this character now where she is the long lost sister essentially. And I hope we get to see more of her character and like, what Tom Taylor has planned for that whole relationship or friendship. And just in general, how that'll turn out. And then of course with Barbara, there was a moment I was flipping through, Superman does show up at one point. There is like a tiny moment of that too. So I think that, like this overall, it's just really cool to see the DC world. And especially for someone like you and me, Sadé, where we haven't read all these characters. We know a lot of them by name or we've seen them, obviously the big ones like Superman, like, but it's cool that they make them relevant in certain story, and just that it's real. Like of course they should show up once in a while, like they're in the same world, like I like the crossovers. So
and I do wonder if there'll be like a love triangle issue that someone brought up about with Starfire and Babs, so I wonder.
Gora talked about so that's again, like seeing if anything like that comes back. It would be cool to see them, or at least I don't know how that tie in, but like it'd be cool to see some of those characters come back for sure.
Love.
Yeah. Even some more with like, one thing I left out that's really great is the group chat that they have on the cell. They have a cell phone group chat of all the Batman, all the Robins, like the Bat family, I should say.
Yeah, that's so good. I forgot. Right? I wish you had that screenshot. That was so good. I'm telling you, the writing and the wittiness is just like, how do
Yeah.
you even think of this? And like
Totally.
it's still like so young. Like not saying he's Tom Taylor's old, but just like it's so like teen
Modern.
thing. And like
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
very much
Yeah,
like
yeah.
younger like mindset and how we talk and how we think, how we make fun of each other and the dynamics. But like I
Mhm.
guess that never changes for any generation, but still.
But still, like he's taking his time to like consider that, you know, it's not like
Yeah.
just like yeah,
It's
I know what you're saying. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, so JP says, do we know her agenda? I think that's still for grabs. Yeah, that's a yeah, Melinda, we don't necessarily know like the big picture plan of like everything that's going on. There, you know, I think we'll definitely get more of that, but at least we know now, like you know, that she finally, because the beginning, that first issue, the way it ends, and seeing Melinda look at the poster of the Graysons, and like and that was like you said, like it like made you first think like, okay, she is the villain and she's after, you know, Dick Grayson and all this stuff, like we didn't quite know. So at least now we have a little more clarity on that stuff. And that she's,
unless this could just be thinking, well, just thinking out loud. Unless like yes, she's not as evil as we think. Let's say like maybe she's not even like 100% like goody two shoes. Like maybe she does have her own agenda and what she wants to do with Dick, and knowing that they're related, and probably could use that detail as like a tool to like get him to decide with her on something. So who knows? It could be for good. It could be for a different bad.
True. True. We'll have to read on, and I will say we don't find that out even in the latest issue. But that's your next read, Sade. You definitely got to check out the latest one.
I will read that after I watch Shang-Chi.
Yeah, finish Shang-Chi and then get into that. Hey, promiscuous time traveler in the house. What's going on, man? Happy New Year to you. So yeah, oh yeah, here JP talked about. I love that cast mostly uses emojis. Yeah, during some of the cell phone scenes. I definitely I'll have to go back and look for some of those just to get a good laugh, because there are some really nice, really funny things.
Moral of this video is go buy this book.
Yes, yeah, 100%. We have 11 people here, so thanks everybody for hanging out with us. Again, I put Sade's information in the description below, so make sure you are subbed up to her channel. Go check out her latest birthday video. It's really great stuff. And there's definitely some surprises in that video that I think are worth just a fun add-on to what you put together. So any last final thoughts here before we kind of close this out? Anything you want to share? Anything I missed, or anything at all?
I think we covered a good amount without ruining it. Too much.
too much. Yeah.
It was like,
I agree.
It just like the design style was my favorite. The writing's there.
Yeah.
The plot twists are there. I don't know what Heartless's like end goal is, other than the collecting hearts. Like, was he gonna make like a giant factory or something? I don't freaking know. That last page, guys.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I don't want to understand it.
Yeah, it's creepy.
It's fine.
Very creepy.
Fine. We'll see what happens. I will read 87 that came out, right? 87.
Yeah.
And then you and I can touch base on the DMs. So
sounds good. Well, I totally agree. I think we covered everything. And again, even for what we covered, this is definitely worth reading or rereading again. And I think it really is just as a standalone, even just this by itself, even if like, you know, I mean, this is going to get anybody to want to keep reading, but like just this alone, like anybody I think can just pick up and read. So, you know, for anyone that ever was wondering, like you don't need a lot of knowledge prior to reading this. And that was something I told you right off the bat, was like,
I don't know everything about
the
all
detail,
the characters, but like I know enough, and that gets you through it and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
All you need.
JP's given us homework. He says both of you go read All New Wolverine about Laura taking over as Wolverine, and you will love it. So that's I'll put that on my list for sure. It's Tom Taylor, right? He said it's Tom Taylor.
New year, I gotta make a gotta read list along with my giant TBR that we don't need to talk about.
True. Yeah, I was gonna say that's never ending, right? Never ending.
Like we should do. Oh, should we do like a New Year like book challenge? Like read X amount in a certain month, or just like erase each other how much we can read. Ooh, should we do that?
That's really
dramatic.
I'm always terrible at that, but I always can try.
Like because I remember last year I was good for like 2 months and then I plateaued. I don't know why. But,
yeah, I remember Victoria from Read Across the Stars. She had started 90 Yeah, how 90 graphic novels in so many, or I forget what it was, 90 days graphic novels. It was like a hashtag, and I could not keep up with that. But it's also tough because like I'm always trying to read like the newest issues that come out. So
I asked, I was like, so can I count this as single issues? Like, I'm just gonna call it 90 anything.
yeah,
I just wanted to be 90 anything. I got pretty far. I made a video and that did well. So
there you go.
We'll see.
There it is. Sheena knows. 190 days.
Yeah, that was aggressive. But I don't. I think graphic. You know what? We'll see. I will think about this today as I recoup. It's 2 a.m. Justin is very competitive. Oh well, then maybe we should. Maybe not like 100, but let's do like a month. Like per month, we should like get like a goal because I feel like what should our?
I mean, I'm all on board for like buddy reads and things. If you have specific ones you want to read, I'm totally down to keep doing stuff like that. I know, I mean, even like JP was saying, like this all new Wolverine would be a lot of fun to to give a go.
That could be our all of our buddy reads.
Yeah, I know that's a lot. I mean, I know there's like a whole omnibus of that, but even just to start that or something.
Is this like we're talking like this?
I mean, the actual series, I think he wrote is like a good 30 plus issues or something like that. I think.
Okay.
I saw someone post an omnibus that they recently got, so it's definitely a chunk. But either way, it's even just to read the first trade or something would be fun. But yeah, so Harleen, we got to talk Harleen at some point, and we'll have a bunch of other things going on. So again, everybody hanging out, thanks so much for taking the time. Oh yeah, JP says 33 total issues. So that is a chunk. And Sheena says, I want to challenge myself at getting all my single issues read.
Same.
Yeah,
that's a good. That should be our challenge.
Yeah, that's that. I'm never able to actually do. Oh yeah, John says that Omni is reasonably priced and in stock trades. Yeah, good call there, John. In stock trades is a good website for that. All right, so we're gonna wrap up here. I hope everybody is having a great New Year's Day kickoff. It's 2022, so I hope it's a healthy and happy one. Sadé, thank you so much for joining me here.
Pleasure. I had some great way to spend the day.
This was a blast. Totally. We'll do this again soon. We'll plan something. And like I said, anything that, or if you guys are not following Sadé, make sure you do so. All our information is in the description below. We'll definitely do something like this again soon. But until then, we're going to wrap up. So everybody here, thanks for watching. If you're watching the replay, right now, thanks so much. Smash that like button on the way out. And Happy New Year's, everybody. We